Thank you so much. For about 20 years, I was a federal prosecutor, which means that I stood up in front of juries and judges and sometimes in front of podiums and argued that people who had made mistakes should be held accountable, sometimes so accountable that they should go to prison. I stopped doing that, and I had a conversation that changed my life. It happened at a U-Haul dealership here in Charlottesville. I went to get a truck, and the man who gave me my keys was a defendant in a criminal case that I had prosecuted myself some years ago. He served 8.5 years in a cell just like that, and we just sat and talked in my vehicle about what it was like for him to return to this community after I had held him accountable. He explained to me that the single biggest challenge he faced was debt and the debilitating effect of being poor. He owed hundreds of dollars to various court systems that he just simply couldn't pay. These were fines and fees imposed upon him as a matter of law, disconnected from his ability to pay. He'd owed all this child support. The meter had kept running on the support that he owed to the mothers of his children while he was incarcerated, no ability to pay. So he owed thousands of dollars in child support. He explained to me that because of that debt, his driver's license had been suspended. As a matter of law in Virginia, that debt, that court-imposed debt, meant your license was suspended. He explained to me that he also was ineligible at the time for federal benefits. He couldn't get Section 8 housing, he couldn't get unemployment, couldn't get food stamps, or even Medicaid. So here's a guy working at a small business, wanting very much to support his kids and to do the right thing, and he had a huge impediment in front of him, which was this mountain of debt. And that was a light bulb moment for me, because I thought in that moment, what can we do, we as a community, to help people in the situation? And the we is important, and I want to come back to that. That was the genesis of an organization right here in Charlottesville called the Fountain Fund. We give low-interest loans to formerly incarcerated men and women so that they can pay back that court-imposed debt or use it to buy job-related clothing or equipment or even start small businesses. Our client partners, we call them client partners because they're not just clients like a bank, they're partners, come in, and if they're successful in demonstrating their ability to pay, they get a loan at a 4% interest rate that they can use for a variety of purposes. They also get financial literacy coaching. It's not just about the check, it's about how to use the check and how to balance that priority with other priorities. They also get a peer group, a network of people that help and support them. And that launches productivity. They go to work. The vast majority of our client partners are employed. They're just reaching the starting line and launching their own ability to be successful. This is Dwayne Washington, and that truck was what he purchased with the funds that he borrowed from the Fountain Fund. He then bought a second truck and a third truck, and he's hiring other formerly incarcerated men and women in his trucking business, right? So when you give people just a chance to get to the starting line and you help them manage their money and you give them a peer group, things change. They start to see themselves differently. That is the most important lesson that we have learned in giving Fountain Fund loans, because all of the people, they get to know each other, they help each other, and they start to see themselves differently. I was fortunate enough at one point to tell one of our client partners that she had been selected for a loan. Her loan application had been approved. She cried and hugged me and said, "No one has ever believed in me before." She now believes in herself, and that is more important than the money. That removes the boulder, and that launches her on her journey to success. It's changing the way our client partners see themselves because of our community investment. And that gets me to my last point, and that's the we, right? This is not a charity where we're doing things to help these people because we feel sorry for them. But as Dr. King said, we at the Fountain Fund see that we are all made stronger as a community by empowering everyone in that community, right? We are tied together in a single garment of destiny. When everyone in the community can achieve, then we all benefit. For thriving communities to be safe and healthy and happy, everyone in that community needs to be able to reach his or her full potential. And that's my final message for all of you. Do something in your lives to see that you are enriched by the success of other people in your community. Whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in your neighborhood, whether it's in your church or school, reach out and empower that mutual garment of destiny. Thank you.